I want to give flowers to Jay-Z, right? Because a lot of people ridicule Jay-Z for for going to the table with the NFL, doing the Colin Kaepernick thing. They appointed Jay-Z. It was almost like a DEI hire. And they brought Jay-Z in there. And Jay-Z didn't say anything about Colin Kaepernick. He just walked right past him as he was taking a knee. And
hey, bro, good luck with that down there.
People ridicule Jay-Z, right? And then today on Nasty Work, me and Luke said when Super Bowl came to Miami, Jay-Z had Jennifer Lopez and Shakira representing Miami. He said, man, I sat down and me and Jay-Z had a conversation.
Thank you, Luke.
He said, I had to tell him, like, what he just did was a travesty. Now, 4 years into this, Jay-Z just got read up with the NFL and they're comfortable with him. They probably trust him. And Jay-Z sneaks a backpack rapper on stage by himself. SZA shows up for a second, and then Serena showed up, crip walk for half a second. He snuck a real rapper from the culture and then let him be Kendrick Lamar because he knew Kendrick Lamar wasn't going to blink. Even with Donald Trump in the audience, he wasn't going to blink. So Jay-Z snuck he was like, this is my chance. I got a real backpack rapper with the hottest song in the nation. I'm about to trick everybody. I'm finna give him this stage.
Street, quick question. I hear you say backpack rapper. For those that don't know, what does that mean? A backpack rapper?
Kendrick Lamar is the culture. He's a lyricist. He's that thing that everybody says nobody wants to hear him rap. But somehow, every now and then, there comes a guy that can straddle the line, right? And he gets accepted. Like, I think Mobb Deep was a very, very dark group, but their songs somehow were able to be played in the clubs. So Kendrick Lamar is from the culture. He's a lyricist. He's a rapper. He's deep. You got to think. He's an audio book when he raps, right? Nobody wants to hear that anymore. Those are the guys. I never thought Kendrick Lamar was going to make it because he was so backpacky. You know what I'm saying? But he made it. And then he keeps making these songs that aren't club songs, they aren't crossover songs, but they cross over. And then he makes a diss track that goes viral. And he wins a Grammy for a diss track. So, and Jay-Z saw a chance, a guy from New York who's from the place where hip-hop was born. He saw the chance that he could get a real hip-hop artist on the biggest stage and nobody around him would realize it because he had a song that was so hot. So
you're saying you don't think that they knew who Kendrick really was?
No, because you see the response across the country. What was that? I can't even understand what he was saying. Ain't no flames, ain't no fire, ain't no planes crashing, ain't no naked women.
Got it.
So
he gave for a guy that's from hip hop, from the place where hip hop is born. He got to a place so high where he could say, hey, Tribe Called Quest, hey, De La Soul, hey, Razzcast, here's your chance. Kendrick Lamar on the biggest stage, and Kendrick Lamar got up there, and he didn't change nothing. There were no naked women. There was no. You didn't see Led Zeppelin.
So y'all don't like naked women now?
You see none of that.
I don't know about Street. You speak for itself.
Y'all don't like naked women now?
No. But
speak for
also,
itself.
you see that women can be sexy with clothes on.
Oh, here we go.
Like we almost had we forgot because Tiana Taylor's
we didn't forget. We didn't forget.
We forget.
But here's what I'll say. Here's a lot of pushback. A lot of people saying it was mid, to Rhett Lashley's point of him talking about it was the worst performance, whatever. What I think people, I think there's three kind of artists. There are artists, like they can rap, sing, whatever. There are performers, and then there's artists and performers. They can do both, right? Like Whitney Houston was an artist. Can't dance for none. Her show probably born like she's in one spot. She's not all over the stage and pyro and all that stuff going on, right? But then you have people like a Beyonce that's going to incorporate dance, background dancers, theatrics, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, all of that kind of stuff. Those people are artists as well as performers. You see what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. When you look at Kendrick's performance, for some people, their expectation is performance. Their expectation is meth. Their expectation is they want to see a Drake lookalike walk out there and he rapping in his face. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they want to see, some trash. And not trash, but a train wreck, right? They not like us. And you got a Drake lookalike and you all in his face. How big would that have been? People would have lost it. Oh my God, Drake just died on stage. Yeah. Right? I'm just saying. But to your point, Street, he came and did what he did, and he didn't waver from who he is. But people want to see the Real Housewives of Hollywood or whatever that is, the real rappers of our, the streets, whatever. And that's why they say the performance wasn't up to par, because when you think the Super Bowl, you don't think passing a message more than you think performing. You want to see somebody like Michael Jackson standing on this doggone scoreboard for 5 minutes and then standing over there for 5 minutes, shooting out the stage and pyro and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Usher with the roller skates and you know what I mean? That's just what people think.
How did you view it? Dog, what I saw was the camera angles and dog, what I saw was very entertaining. It's almost like how do you view it?
I think because it was I think my issue with this is that I don't think people realize how much their privilege shows in this situation, because people are reacting. So there's people in the world that realize that everything's not for them, and there's people that live in the world that exist that think everything should be for them. I think when you watch that performance at the start, at the very beginning of his performance, I can't remember exactly the words that he said, something about the revolution, blah, 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 blah. I knew who he was talking to. And that, and as soon as he started his first 3 sentences, I knew exactly who this performance was for. And that's the brain I turned on, right? Like, I think he said like,
the revolution would not be televised.
But you got the right person or the wrong person at the right time, or whatever he
used to say all the time. Yeah.
Right. But what he says, but in that moment, again, I realized I'm like, oh, this is for the culture, because it triggered me. It triggered me that side of me where I'm like, you need to pay attention.
But and here's go ahead.
But if you're not from that culture, you had no idea why he even said that. Even that sentence meant nothing to you. And so because he wasn't speaking to you, you now can't watch this as for what it is, because you think it's something it's not. He told you what this was. Respectfully, Black people know we know what that meant. We got it immediately. And so, exactly. And so we knew, like, in that moment, I was like, I need to pay attention. And even when the car, because when they had, before they even went to that, when you saw the guys talking on the thing and they had the car, I was like, what is he about to do with this car? As soon as I saw people coming out of that car, I immediately said, he's going to recreate the hood. That's what I thought. That was just my initial thought, because what he was saying. So for me, again, but I'm a Black woman who's highly invested in the culture, who saw what he was trying to create, because he told me that from jump. And so my question is, for the people who don't understand what was happening, it's because they don't understand the culture, and they just won't admit that.
But to your point, though, right? You don't know what you don't know, and I think Street said it earlier. They don't have to live in our world; we have to live in their world, so we can code switch, right? So when that revolution not be televised has been said for, like you said, back to
everywhere,
that flips our switch to the code, right? For them, they're like, not televised. Is this on ABC? Right. So in their mind, they're like, we're not be televised. What do you mean? However, again, you also, when people go to the Super Bowl, they're there to be entertained, in essence, not educated. That's their mind frame. I'm going to be entertained. I want to see people jumping around and da da da. Kendrick Lamar could have said the same exact words, had the same playlist, everything. But if there was some theatrics to it, people would have been like, that's the best show ever. If somebody would have got shot out of cannon from over across the thing. I'm just saying that's the part. You just saw formational stuff with the different dress, making the flag out of it. So there was a lot of symbolism in it, of course, and figurative language in it, of course. But I don't think there was a lot of showmanship, I think is the right way to say it. And that's where people missed the mark because, and I think he did that intentionally now, don't get me wrong, because he wants you to hear the message. But I don't think there was a lot of showmanship that you typically would see.
I saw this, but I understood what he was doing. I understood what it was about. So I saw the showmanship, even how he had an X and a circle and a triangle, because he's representing different people and like different societies. When I saw the performance, my immediate thought was very like, okay, Kendrick brought his people to the hood because everybody was black. They all were wearing different colors. They united for the flag. He split the flag. Then they all went to their own hoods and they were on the X and they were on the O and they were on the triangle. And so he's telling the story. Then you bring out Serena, who's been ridiculed for crip walking years ago, who's now crip walking on a public stage. And now everybody gets to see her do it. And she's now celebrated for it. And then they go. So I guess, but again, for me, I'm seeing it because, like you said, my brain is flipped to that. I already know what time it is because I'm a part of the culture.
See, for me, that was totally different. The square, the circle. Remember, they're talking about playing the game. Remember, Sam Jackson said, you got to know how to play the game. That's the PlayStation controller. The buttons on the PlayStation.
Well, somebody else said it was Squid Games.
Nah, Squid Game only got 3.
PlayStation. Sony makes PlayStation. Drake is on Sony's record label.
See, but my whole point is, though, is we saw it all different ways, but we're all telling the same story.
Right.
That's what makes it amazing to me. And to me, that's artistry. That is like going and getting a painting, putting it on your wall, and then going, I see a giraffe, and Hayes going, really? I see a donkey in street going, they're playing football. You know what I mean? That's artistry.
Hey, that's the son of American Heritage president.
There's an artist out there named Doche. With Doche, like she won a Grammy the other night. Very artsy, reminds me of Lauryn Hill. And Hayes, it wasn't. No, art is like
subjective. Yeah.
It is. Like it is. It could be flames and fireworks everywhere. Or halfway through that thing, I looked at my people and I was like, bro, I don't know if I ever saw the visuals of a performance like this, like the way what they were doing. So it was entertaining to me, but that's what I'm saying. And you got to give your props to Jay-Z because he know he was only going to speak to people from the culture of hip hop.
Exactly.
And he snuck that man out there, and then they put Samuel Jackson out there, and they literally in a climate right now where I don't know what's going on in America. Things are being divided. People are being divided. I don't know what's going on with Donald Trump in the building. They literally kind of told a story.
Yeah, I in the moment. So once it was done, I thought, what a way to tell a story that everyone's going to have a different version of the story. And then I was like, my brain immediately switched to the game because I'm like, they better not let this team come back. But then I caught myself when the Super Bowl was over. Then I wanted to know more. So it was like, I was like, did everybody else just experience what I experienced? Okay, this game's over. The Eagles won. Thank God for that. Now let me go see exactly everything I missed because there's things that I didn't see. And then I started seeing people complain. I'm like, it wasn't for y'all though. It was if you my thing is this, if you didn't connect to it, it wasn't for you. It's no different than me turning on a hockey game and me being like, I don't know what's going on. And I turn the channel. I don't get it.
If Van Halen was to perform, you'd be like,
I wouldn't care. Yeah, I would be like, I don't know what.
No, so it's the same thing that they're saying Beyonce isn't real. It's the same shit. They're saying Beyonce isn't real country music.
Yeah.
Right?
When black people invented country music.
They gotta get out of their own fucking way and give respect to something else. It's the same argument.
Yeah.
So we let Eminem in. We let, you know what I'm saying? Bubba Stacks in. We let Bubba Sparks in. But when it comes to them, they standing on business.
But doesn't that go back to like the whole issue? We're always trying to assimilate. We're always trying to welcome in. We're always like, when are we going to say, y'all want our culture? We don't want yours.
I don't know.
I'm gonna tie this back to our first story. Well, if that's the case, just to tie this back, if that's the case, then what happens with this young man and the dad being the president? Do those black players still go to American Heritage and create funds for that school and put them on the national stage? And nobody would have heard of American Heritage when 247 reports and on 3, and they bring up American Heritage had 12 players signed D1, blah, blah. They get on the national stage for that. So now what happens to those players, right? What happens? Does this kid need to come out and have an apology statement? Because everybody else should have to apologize.
Until we force people to do it, Hayes, until we find what our leverage is, it's not going to happen. Until we find out what our power stands.
No, what I'm saying that to say to Really Flawed's point is, so now what happens? Where you do let like you said, Bubba Sparks and Eminem and so forth, and this, that, and the third. But then when it flips on the other side, we like, nah, that man ice colder. Got to get over there. He's selling colder ice than we selling. So it's just
for the people that don't know
the repercussions to. So my biggest thing, what are the repercussions for this happening clearly as it is? And this gentleman has probably made a lot of money through sponsorships and everything else with this American Heritage program through its football program, because they've done extremely well.
Yeah, and until we figure out who we are, there won't be any repercussions. We have to figure out where our leverage lines and when do we stand up. Now, for people, a little background on Serena Williams. Serena Williams, if people who don't know, if you ever saw the Serena Williams movie, she's from Compton.
Right.
When they tell stories of Compton, sometimes you hear people tell stories of, you ain't from the place. Game tells a story sometimes, you're not from the place where Serena Williams and Venus Williams used to be practicing in the tennis with their daddy. Like, you don't remember seeing those things. Like, for the people who don't know, she is from Compton. Like, she's from LA. Her sister was shot and killed by a gang member, I think, a stray bullet.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who, sometimes we judge and we don't understand what we're looking at, right? You talk about a place where you're born and they're like, listen, man, give him a bib and a pacifier, he's a Crip of blood. Whether you want to be one or not. Like it's either you think one side or the other side.
The other thing too I heard is that Serena and SZA used to date Drake. So that was another reason why they were both there.
Serena did. I didn't know SZA did.
So did you realize in some of the lyrics, Kendrick kept saying, well, I don't want to do it because people like to sue. Remember the second time it broke away to the girls? And then there was another point where he said something. He said Drake's name and then looked at the camera and did the little smile thing and started walking.
Yeah.
So I think he said that either before SZA came out or anyways, but again, that's why I keep telling people, like, it's not just the songs he's saying and just that he was there and just the flag and just the controller and just the like, it's like everything that he did was intentional. And if you took some time to go look at it for 5 minutes out of your life, you would actually understand it instead of whining. And that's my thing. Is like, why are you whining?
So here's what I tell people. Take a moment, but take a moment. If you didn't get it, it's like anything else, right? For the guys that's sitting with their girlfriend, or maybe some girlfriend sitting with their guys, and a football game is on, and she's like, well, babe, I don't understand the game. Can you explain it to me? Have that same conversation about this. Sit down with somebody that has a semblance of understanding and say, okay, I don't understand. What does this mean? What does that mean? And I wish to God one day that, and he may not ever do this because you do want to leave it subjective because it keeps the conversation rolling and it's not absolute.
And it's art.
Well, right. But I wish one day, it ain't gonna be this year, next year, whatever, but at some point that he walks through what each section meant to him as the artist, right?
Right.
To say, well, when I did this, I was representing that. When I split the flag, right? Everybody talking about, the divide in America, which may be 100% accurate. But as him as an artist, he may not have been thinking that. He might have been thinking this or that. I'm just saying how I would love to hear from his perspective how right the people are and maybe how wrong the people are. But again, art is subjective to your point.
What did you think about him bending over when they did the flag, when he split the flag and they bent over? When they were dancing? Do you remember? No? Okay. Never mind.
Is it? But isn't that what hip hop is? Like
that's all it is. Never, and they never. I disagree. I don't think he ever should. I think he should leave it.
Agree. Yeah, like I say, he should leave it. But again, I'm talking about when we old and gray in the chair. When you hear the backstory. No, seriously.
I see what you're saying, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about way back then. Like the song. I just saw this thing pop up. Freak Out. That song. The guy just came out and said how they came up with that song. They couldn't get into the club, and they said, get out. And that's how they came with the song. So he was jamming to the music, and it said, F out. And then they took it out and said, freak out. Huh. Whatever that story. I'm just saying it's interesting to hear those stories sometimes to be like, damn, that's the origin of how that started. I'm talking later down the line, the old Kendrick. Baby, back then in 2025, when I did it, we talking about 2050, 2060. Lord,
and knowing Kendrick, he's probably he might rap about it in a song or something. Somebody will catch something. You know how I feel like the way they tell stories is like, it's so impressive because I forgot it. Like even somebody said he was singing a song that he was going to release or that wasn't released or that was half released. And so he started singing a little bit of that song and then added a couple of more to the song and then switched the song and nobody really knew who the lady. I'm just like, what is going on? There's so much happening.
I didn't know that Drake held his own with versus Kendrick Lamar was pretty amazing. I hate that Drake is going out like a sucker and suing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish you could have just stayed at this heavyweight lyrical battle that we hadn't saw in a while. But Drake kind of going off the.
Man, he was acting light skinned. Just say it straight.
He got in his feelings. See, his emotional intelligence didn't allow him to keep going.
He kind of like messing it all up.
Somebody put a battery in his back and told him, "Hey, boy, you gotta calm this down."
So what I was saying was just shout out to Jay-Z. He's only one man, right? But I had faith in him when he got into business with the NFL that eventually one day we will see this. And we see it. And then I think as the people, we don't realize, like, well, even when we do something, we don't realize that, Jay-Z he got in there, he just did something. He just made something happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. You know what's interesting is I wonder what the NFL is thinking today. Like, I wonder if, like, because there's a part of me that, like, I've never worked for like the NFL, but I've sat in meetings before where leaders were like, well, we want to do something, but we're not the right people to deliver the message. Somebody else needs to deliver the message because if it comes from us, it's not the right message. I am wondering if they know what's going on and they're okay with it because they can say it's Jay-Z's thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, have you ever been in a situation where there's a group of people and they're kind of like, well, I don't want to be the person that says this, but can you say it? Like, you saying it is delivering it better. I'm wondering what they're feeling, or if they're like, this is a total fail, or like, I'm just wondering what they're saying.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I believe the NFL was clearly aware of what was going to happen. You don't do something that big without practicing it. You don't do something that big without somebody else from the NFL establishment at practice know what's going on. And they have the son. In essence, I know Jay-Z's the man, but at the end of the day, the shield is going to protect itself. They're not going to let someone go rogue because you're Jay-Z and, oh, we trust you. Yeah, I trust you. But I also got a lawyer to watch the lawyer, accountant to watch the accountant, right? Meaning, we got this. And trust me, the NFL knows who Kendrick Lamar is. Somebody in that office, right? Like they know he's who he is. They're clearly aware of, like I said, they have the FBI, former FBI agents that vet players before they draft them. You don't think they went through Kendrick Lamar to say what's going on here? No, they know what was going on, and they understand the assignment, right? Whether it's for show or whatever, with the end racism that's in the end zones, or now it's love, or whatever the case may be. But an entity as large as that is not going to just blindly allow you to just go out there and perform and say, all right, I see it. Nah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess my whole point is like, I wish, and I say this privately to like friends and family, I'm going to say it publicly, but I wish we lived in a world where people realized that they were the problem. Their lack of research, their lack of listening, their lack of involvement, their lack of honestly taking the time to understand is the problem here. Like, why are we not? I mean, I don't even know who the performer was. I was watching the Grammys and some person was up in full blown costume. I don't know who the person was. It was a woman. I don't know what she was doing, but she had a speech, and I listened to the speech and I was like, that was a really good speech. Like, who is this person? Like, because I didn't know. And afterwards I was like, I need to spend some time to understand like who that person actually is so that I can understand more of like why she was saying the things that she was saying. But my point is like, I wish more people would do that. Stop attacking the thing you actually don't know anything about. Take some time, 5 minutes, and just go, okay, what was that about? What did I miss? Because there's clearly a culture of people that really loved this thing. What did they like that I didn't understand?
But why do I have to, Flawed? If I never had to understand you now. No, and I get what you're saying. I totally get. I'm just speaking from their perspective to say, if I never had to do this on some real life stuff, why would I do it about a Super Bowl performance that's 15 minutes long?
Which is why I said that is why I wish I live in a world where people weren't that selfish. Like, you should do it because you exist in the world with these people. That's why you should do it.
They want somebody like me and you to give a 30-second TikTok clip and explain what happened. And then they're going to run to the barbershop and be like, or the water cooler. Yeah. Do you know when they split the flag, that's because America's divided? I'm just saying that's how the world works.
I think if they brought Garth Brooks up there, I don't think most people where we from would care. Or care to even figure out what he's trying to do.
Exactly. Like we say,
I think it depends on. It's kind of funny you said Garth Brooks because he actually might get up there and do something that white people would be pissed because that's what he does. So maybe use somebody else and not Garth Brooks, but because he might get up there and like kneel or something, and you'd be like, Garth. But I get what you're saying. Like, so one of their
there's no man named Garth.
Yeah, one of their
subliminal stuff up there when she just did her performance a couple of weeks ago, and nobody cared.
Who?
Beyonce when she performed at the Ravens game.
She performed at the Super Bowl and they hated it. Remember, she had the all black.
Yeah,
and that's why and she was wearing all white this time, and they were like, "Why is she wearing white?" I'm like, "You guys just cannot."
And Samuel Jackson said it. He was actually clean with it. Samuel Jackson said, that's how you, what he said, you clean it up or make it soft. That was too ghetto. He was telling you directly what's going on.
He said one time a life. He was like, oh, you're going to lose a life. You lose a life for that one. Like,
yeah.
And we're like,
yeah.
Yeah.